so many friendly, wonderful faces. Big up yourselves.
Yeah.
I only say that because I was doing comedy last night in a place called Clacton-on-Sea. Yeah, it's very different to this. I don't know, for any of you that don't know what Clacton-on-Sea is, Clacton-on-Sea is the place in England that unanimously decided to vote Nigel Farage in. They love him, he's a hero there. I don't know if any of you in this room have ever been given the task of trying to entertain a room of people that have collectively given up. Let me tell you, that's a tough gig. This feels like the Apollo. It really does. The promoter gathered us all round 5 minutes before the gig. 5 minutes before the gig, he gathered us all around like it was the Hunger Games. We were all visibly shitting ourselves. It felt like the whistle was about to go at the song. That's how it felt. He said to us, whatever you do, don't do anything on Farage. You will lose the room. And then just fucked off. What does that even mean, lose the room? Is that assault? Like, this is quite hard on its own, let alone when you think that one wrong slip-up could have you assaulted by an angry, racist Captain Birdseye. You know? The gig went fine though, if you're wondering, if you bothered. Mainly because about half the room had fallen asleep. I think a couple of them might have died. I actually had a drink in the bar after, and a gentleman came up to me from Clacton-on-Sea, and he said to me, we were talking about Farage, he said to me that Nigel Farage was his idol. Yeah, that is rock bottom for man. That man needs help, doesn't it? That's where we've got to, pensioners idolising Farage. That is my generation's version of thinking that the stripper definitely fancies you. This is a wonderful room. I'm from Birmingham. Any Brummies in? Really? You're a Brummie? Amazing. When did you know you were scum? I'm full scum, I can say it. I'm a proud Brummie, right? Proud Brummie. I'm not here to slag off Birmingham. I'm a proud Brummie. I've been flying the flag for Birmingham. It's a tough flag to fly, but I used to have the accent. For example, I used to have the accent. I was proud of my accent, but I was prouder at the idea of sounding employable. So that went. It's tough being a Brummie, honestly. Like, I've been doing stand-up 18 months now, going up and down the country, and I've realised one of the main takeaways of my time on the circuit is that we are not respected. Right? We are bottom of the social pile. We are the court jesters of this country, the Brummies. I think it sort of goes registered sex offenders, murderers, Brummies, people who drive a Tesla. People who do park run. There you go. It's a losing battle of flying the flag for Birmingham. It is, trust me. This is the anniversary, the 1 year anniversary of a famous poll that came out last October. This is when I realised that we have no social standing in this country. Right, the Mail Online ran a poll of 100,000 women, and those 100,000 women voted the Birmingham accent to be the second least shaggable accent in the world. Right, there are 17,000 accents in this world, as Google told me, and we were second. Right, bad day, agreed? Bad day for the Brummies, bad PR day. Worst PR day, Swaddling Co, when you find out that first on the list, the only accent in the whole world that was deemed more disgusting than the Birmingham accent, as voted for by 100,000 women, the only accent in the whole entire world that was deemed less shaggable and more abhorrent than the Birmingham accent was, and I quote, being a registered mute. We're fucked, we're in a race to the bottom with people we can't even talk to. I beef with the mutes. I really haven't, you know. Got a lot of time for them, you know. Mr. Bean's a personal hero of mine, but I don't think it's controversial to say that I don't even think the mutes thought they were in with a shout there. I could use a better phrase there, but I don't think the National Council of Mutes, and there is one, I don't think the National Council of Mutes thought, shit, there's a poll out tomorrow. We better get a statement ready. Kevin, get the braille out. I like that that's the level. Look, Brummies, I've accepted it, right? But I've got a theory of my own on who I think the worst type of people are in the world. Now, it'd be interesting to know if you're on the same wavelength as me. So if you know, worst type of people in the whole world. If you want to just throw some suggestions at me, just hit me. Just any suggestions, worst type of people in the world.
Welsh.
The Welsh? The Welsh? Two more? Scottish? The Welsh, the Scottish, the French. Nice. Great suggestions. Thank you for your input. I really am grateful. Thank you for your interaction. I'm very grateful. Unfortunately, they are all wrong. Because the answer is, of course, old people. Now, I've scanned the room, and you've all passed the test. Now, I'll tell you why I don't like old people. So I'll tell you why I've got a problem with them. Because I've always been good to old people. Swaddling coat, I always have. I've always been a good boy. I've always been the best boy. I've always helped them cross the road, you know, smiled at them in the street, helped them reach for things in Sainsbury's if they can't. I stood by them when ITV cancelled the Alan Titchmarsh show. I wrote a Facebook post when the Queen died, you know. Do you know what? I'm glad I am, because I miss her. I followed her sage advice, you know, old people's sage advice, you know. I cancelled my Netflix subscription so that I could get on the housing ladder. I'll be honest, it's not worked. Because that's when they're at the worst for me, old people. That's where the line is, when they start giving out mortgage advice, you know, like they worked hard. See, I would make that national legislation. If you're over the age of 75, keep the fucking lid on it. I'm ruthless as well, I am. One word, I'd take strictly off them for a week, I would. I'm a babyface killer, I am. I was doing a gig in a place called Warsaw 2 weeks ago because my career has flatlined, and a woman came up to me and she said, Harry, I'm 83. She didn't need to tell me that because she fucking looked it. No. She looked lovely, but she just looked like a surprise attack from an electronic hand dryer would wipe her out. She said to me that I should consider swapping out the meal deals for packed lunches, because that's what she did, and it worked for her. Now, I have seldomly fantasised about a woman's death before. But as history reminded me, tricky wank. Now, the reason Deirdre was able to get on the housing ladder back in the good old days, you know the good old days they talk about? The good old days where Ian Brady ran wild through fields of wheat. Women didn't have the vote, you know, those good old days that apparently they were so good. You know, the reason she was able to get on the housing ladder back in the good old days, ladies and gentlemen, this is a pill she'll never swallow, was because back then, you could have got on the housing ladder by essentially cutting back on sherry for 2 weeks. You could have got yourself a paper round and put your threepences in a vase. You'd have had a cottage in no time. And if any of you that think I'm exaggerating this point, right, you probably don't know this, but until 1963, Northern Rock used to accept livestock as a legitimate mortgage deposit. Should we try that one more time? Until 1963, Northern Rock used to accept livestock as a legitimate mortgage deposit. Sorry, is this fucking thing? 1960. Do you know livestock? And they tell us how to save for a house. Right, you've pushed me to the edge. Close your eyes. Let's play a game. Close your eyes, Sue. Close your eyes, everyone. It's 1962. It's January. Abby, close your eyes. Abbey Road is top of the album charts. Uganda have just claimed independence from the Empire, and Walkers have just introduced flavoured crisps. That's right. I've just transported you back to when we were a proper fucking country. Close your eyes. You could have walked down your high street with Peppa fucking Pig. Walked into a Northern Rock. Given the pig away. And you could have walked out with a semi-detached. I've got more of a chance of putting the actual Peppa Pig in my meal deal. If you just want to compare my situation to that, right, my situation, my mortgage advisor told me at the rate I'm saving, I will be all set to have the house of my dreams by the time I'm 34. On the one provision, I die when I'm 33. I'll start talking about old people now. Second worst type of people in the world after old people. Any suggestions? Scousers. Pedos, Scousers. Racist, paedophiles, Scousers. Honestly, great suggestions. Unfortunately, they are all wrong. Because the answer is, of course, really old people. Buckle in,